Here's what happened, guys. Every small business owner that has operated a business for a few years has gotten the short end of the stick at some point. That could be like buying an AI product that didn't deliver on its promise, hiring a video marketing company that doesn't deliver on the expected results, or getting paid to consult an event and then being asked by the client if you can work for free on their next event. I've personally experienced all of these. There are many other examples from other small business owners I've talked to over the last 11 years since starting my first business as a DJ. We all fall short of the glory of God. But when mistakes are made, we have to own our part in them and forgive others that genuinely own their mistakes. The hard truth is there are bad actors in the over 1,000 industries who intentionally take advantage of Americans, give false promises of their products and services, and don't genuinely care about improving the quality of life for Americans in the long term. We need to spotlight these bad actors because light is the best disinfectant. Because when we don't fight for what is beautiful, good, and true in our country, we let the cancerous industries that prey on our vices grow. One of those being gambling. There are a lot of young Americans tired of the status quo and want a future of more integrity in business. Welcome back to the RD Week show. Happy Thursday, guys. There is right and there is wrong. There's good and there is evil. And when you make agreements with other either clients or vendors, and you don't honor that agreement, and then you don't own up to that mistake, that is falling out of integrity. It's important with integrity to be reminded of honesty. For me, when I organized my first conference where 500 people came together, I fell out of integrity. I lied to my team members. I lied to the community overall of how many attendees were coming at the beginning in order to create momentum because I was scared of being embarrassed and my business reputation hurting. And your business reputation is not worth damaging your soul. Doing what is right over what is easy and convenient wins every time in the long term. You may be able to get by a little bit in the short term, and I felt that, but then you have this heaviness that can come over you on your shoulders, and it can feel like you're carrying a 60-pound pack. And when each day goes by and that keeps stacking up for the amount of burden that you're carrying, it becomes overwhelming to the point where it can't be ignored. And that is where doing what's right over what's easy and convenient and telling the truth, it wins every time in the long term. And I experienced that. I have talked about that story. I hit my burnout or hit burnout after the event, made plenty of financial mistakes, and had to own up to those mistakes and be clear and honest with my vendors for the debt that had piled up. And I took that debt on personally. That was from the business, and then with support of those that loved me and cared for me, I was able to get help in order to pay off all the debts that I owed, and I asked if they can give me more time for these vendors to be able to get paid back, and gratefully they said yes. And for every single one that was able to get back to me, I was able to pay back that money, and it felt good to tell the truth. And for me now, honesty is a very important part of how I do business moving forward, and it's important to have that as a foundation as you are continuing to operate your small business, and to be reminded you're not alone. We have God, and also there are others that have gone through that journey of making the mistakes of lying and having to own up to those mistakes and get back into integrity. And again, we can't do this alone. So with this movement, it's turning America's future into small business renaissance, and we are tired of the chaos that is out there. There's a lot of chaos currently in our country. The national debt is over $39 trillion. Gen Z is the most in debt generation for their age group in the history of the U.S. And going back to household debt, that is over $18 trillion. Here in the U.S., we have the credit card debt being over $1 trillion alone for personal credit card debt. And things are not working. We are noticing massive change around us. A lot of unpredicted, like a lot of chaos when it comes to the changes that are happening for AI coming now into our industries and the disruption that could cause. the build outs of these data centers and how there's been massive pushback against these data centers. And actually we start to when we start to be curious and ask more questions where things don't make sense with with a lot of focus on these data centers, we start to notice some of the evil demonic undertones of what these data centers could represent. One of which is surveillance in our country, and more surveillance. Let's put it that way, because a hard truth is that our government spies on us, the American people. And I talked about that before with Congressman Thomas Massie sharing about that at a press conference. And unfortunately, just a few days ago, he lost his seat in the primary due to it being one of the most expensive primaries ever. Over $30 million of media was spent, and there was a lot of lies and AI videos that were shared of these lies about Thomas Massie. And that goes back to when you see examples like that in politics, when you see it within your specific industry, when you see it in culture, you start, what's important to remember is theology, culture, politics, economy, they're all interconnected in shaping the future. And then when you can see those patterns that are happening across these industries, across these different areas of people falling out of integrity, and that stuff starts stacking up, we get really tired of the status quo, seeing all of that, and we get tired of the chaos, and it gets to that point where then it's like we have to make a change here, and this movement is about uniting as small business owners, and to be reminded that America's future leaders are small business owners, and those that are in integrity, those that genuinely care about the people that they are serving through their products and services, and to realize that can be the future, is coming back to our principles. And I've mentioned so many times our principles and focusing on these cardinal virtues of timeless wisdom, of prudence, when it comes to that prudence of being able to be aware of, in the long term, what's really important to do, which is to tell the truth, always to tell the truth, but also to do what is right over what is easy and convenient. Because in the short term, we can get overwhelmed with the embarrassment of what could happen if something doesn't go well for an agreement. And that's where we can start to make the mistakes of choosing to lie, or choosing to stretch using fake hype in order to make sure we can sell a product or service, and all these little tricks that are hidden behind the scenes in the industry that we know are there. And we witness that within our different industries, and we can point out to that's really out of integrity. And at times we can be quiet about that. A lot of times we can be quiet about that. And it's important that we do fight for what is beautiful, good, and true, that we do point a spotlight on those bad actors, on those bad habits and the behaviors within our industries that really hurt Americans for the long term. And in the short term, there may be the benefit, but then is that preying on the vices of us, the American people? And many times that is. Going back to that industry example I said of gambling. Short term may have that dopamine hit, but then in the long term, a lot of damage can be done. And as small business owners, we are America's future leaders, and we have to lead by example. And this is where integrity, we need to continue to have a conversation about this and continue to make sure that we are supporting each other of being able to operate our business in integrity. You can have a successful business by operating in integrity. It's really important to never forget that. There can be a lot of noise that is out there, a lot of fakeness out there of what success could look like, which is cutting corners or not caring about the people you are serving through your products or services. We have to reject that with this movement, and to realize that what's very important in order to save our country moving forward, to move through this chaos, is we've got to create stability. Stability, not just within the business, but stability in our life, stability in our industries, and then from there, our communities, and then our country. Because the antidote of chaos is stability. And how we do that is by living in our principles, being able to understand what those principles are. Going back to taking the time to do the research of understanding the cardinal virtues, of making sure that we also are leading with honesty, even when it's really hard to do that, where our business reputation may be hit. Because what's important to never forget is that us, the American people, we are very forgiving. We are. To those that own up to their mistakes, we are as a society. And that is something that is really beautiful about our country, is that we do forgive. And that comes back to my faith in being a Catholic, the importance of forgiveness. And when we do realize that we are all human, and that we do make mistakes, and when we can see others that genuinely own up to those mistakes, and we own up to our mistakes, then we build a better society moving forward. And that's something I do hope to be able to see more and more into the future as we continue as a movement to move towards turning America's future into a small business renaissance. But with integrity, never forget how important that is as you continue to operate your business and make that foundation, not just in the business, but in your life, in order to be able to create stability. So I know this won't be the last time talking about integrity, but this is important as a foundation in your operations. So if you're a small business owner who wants to connect with other small business owners in person to shape the future of our country and our economy, then you can join us for A Future Fest. This is happening in Charleston, South Carolina. This is where you can register at afuturefest.com. And it's happening January 14th, 15th, 2027. The plan is to have over 300 small business owners across industries coming together to be able to shape the future. And when you can notice similar patterns across industries, that can better prepare you for the chaos, not just in the present, but in the future. And then you're able, through being better prepared, create stability, not just in the business, but in your life. And as I said, the antidote of chaos is stability. And then from there, it can improve your overall quality of life. So I will see you guys tomorrow.